Alright, this is going to be day one, starting on the suspension. We're not going to get a whole lot done because we don't have the suspension parts in yet. The only thing that came in are the front struts and the rear. So, what I originally planned on doing today, because I didn't think those parts would be in at all, was we were going to jack up the front, pull the wheels off. We were going to go into the rear and pull the back seat out. Because whenever you do the rear, if you'll notice, draw a straight line from here up. That's where the strut mounts in the C-pillar, which you can't get to from the trunk. So, why has Uganda Knuckles moved? Weird. Normally he sits in the middle. Huh. Oh, you know what? I think I got one when I got back from the airport. I think someone moved him. And he just hasn't been moved back. Alright, anyway. That has to come out. This back seat has to come out. And then that big shelf back there where the speakers and everything has to come out. The C-pillar dealios have to come out. And then we'll see what all has to come out from there. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright. Be back with an update. And if you didn't know, those are 17mm bolts in there that hold this thing on. So your 17mm impact will bust them right out. And I believe they're torqued on to 100 foot-pounds. So when you put them back on, make sure you got your torque wrench 100 foot-pounds, I believe. I'll double check that before I put them back on, but that's not going to be for several more days yet anyway. So, pretty sure 100 though. Alright, wheels off. I already sprayed some penetrating oil on everything I'm going to have to take off. Which we're not going to do today anyway, I don't think. Unless I feel like it. Because we're just pulling the struts out and taking the back seat out. Preparation for the rear. In any case, ABS sensor. I don't know if this has to come off, but if it doesn't, then whatever, I'll note later on that you don't have to take it out, but when you do, if you do, it's a 5mm hex key. We'll take that off. It took a considerable amount of torque, but busted her loose, and then you just kind of wiggle it back and forth to get it out. Once I pulled it loose with the once I pulled the hex key out, I just used this little guy to kind of stick it in there and wiggle it to give me some room. Then I was able to take it and wiggle it and yank it out, and now it's just kind of running from its little box. I just kind of got it chilling there out of the way for now, for whenever I pull the strut, if that thing's getting caught, because I don't know if it has to come out, but if it does, I don't want that hung up on the strut, so I'll let you know. Alright, the little length that holds the strut to the sway bar, that is a 16mm, and then the big bolt that I pulled out for the clamp there, the squish deal that holds the strut in, that is 18mm. And then up here, these little dudes are 13mm, and this guy is a 21mm. And I'm not sure what this guy is yet. Probably also a 5, maybe a 6. I think he looks bigger than the one I used earlier. Probably a 6. Okay, so struts out. Bam. Okay, one consequence is because I didn't pull the caliper off, in order to keep stress and tension off the brake line, I've got this thing now supported by a shitload of bungee cords clamping onto various things inside the car. So, I'm probably going to pull the caliper off. That way I can just support the weight of the caliper And then I'll be able to close my hood because I think we're supposed to get snow later this week, or rain or something. I don't want my hood staying up the whole time. So as you can see, I got a bunch of stuff holding the rotor up, and then some dealios wrapped around there kind of holding it up as well. And then I guess, which would be fine normally, but when it comes time to put that strut back in, all that's going to have to come back down, and I'm going to have to put tension and pressure on it, on that brake line again, and we don't want them problems, so we'll do that with the driver's side. Driver's side caliper's coming off first before we start doing any of this, so there you go. Learn from me. Alright, last part of this video is caliper came off pretty easy. There's only 2 bolts holding on from the back. That's 16 millimeter. 16 millimeter bolts. Take those 2 off. And normally you're supposed to have a little bolt that holds your rotor on. Imagine my shock when it came straight off, because previous owner must have did a brake job and didn't put the little bolt back in. So I have to hit up BMW for that. There's a caliper hanging. I got 2 bungee cords holding it up. Alright, so got quite a bit done with the spring. We have one side on the bottom 3 springs, the other spring compressor on the top 3 springs. Focus, you piece of crap. Must be the sun. And then the 21 millimeter, I used a 13/16 because I don't have a 21 millimeter wrench. Held it on there. And I had to use the big, huge Makita with a bunch of adapters down here to fit my 6 hex and bust that loose. So I tightened this while holding this still. It's kind of counterintuitive. You'd want to loosen this, but if you think about it, since you need to bust this loose by loosening, this has to tighten. So you hold this in place with your 13/16 or 21 mil, and then impact. I use an impact for all this, so I have no idea how you're going to do this without one, because it's, I mean, this is the beastliest Makita they have, and it took some work to bust this thing loose. So I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get my damn hex thing out of there, but I'll try. We'll see what I can do. It's going to be pretty stubborn. Alright, almost done. So we didn't have to move anything really. It was fairly easy. You just take all this crap off, pull that off as one, boom, put it on the new one. This is the new one. And then put your stuff back in, and then this was before between 2 and 3 threads on. So again, this side's about 3, this side's about 2. So that's exactly where it was, and then I impacted it back on. Now, fun fact, the new one came with a new, what do you call it, lock nuts, with a little plastical deal in it. And this one was actually 22 millimeter. So, because it's really fun to go get new tools, so I had to go get a 7/8 wrench, because I, again, don't have a 22 millimeter wrench. Held it, and then, of course, you put your little 6... Oh, I got it out of the other one, by the way, which was a pain in the ass, because this thing popped off, so all that was stuck in there was this thing. I tried channel locks, couldn't do it, so I got a torch, heated it up, and then and I applied the torch between the tool and the deal there, so like the thing was stuck there, and then I had my torch at kind of a 45er on there, and heated it up, and then yanked it off, banged it around a little bit with some massive channel locks, and then yanked it off with the same channel locks. So got my tool back. Takes the same 6 hex, the new one. 22, unfortunately, with this, and then, of course, you would hold it with your 7/8, and then now loosen. And I used the impact for that, and I probably shouldn't have, because it kind of hollowed it out in there, or I guess turned it from a 6-point to a 12-point. So now what's going to happen is, 10 years from now, when I have to change this again, that's going to be rounded out. So I'm either going to have to use a Torx when that day comes, or have some other schmuck do the one on the passenger side. So For the driver's side one, we now know better. We just need to, I guess, hold it in place with the wrench. And then I'll use the actual, those really long ones I got over there, Allen keys, to torque it down. And then we shouldn't round out and I won't have that problem. So, lesson learned. Learn from me. To take it off, I don't see how you can do it without an impact, though, I'll be honest. Putting it on, probably you want to use just the Allen key. Do not use an impact. More or less how you do the strut. Refreshing on this, and I'll just do this as its own video, I guess. Because come Saturday, we'll be taking the whole suspension apart. The front, anyway. So, like I said, Saturday should have all the suspension done in the front. Should be road ready. And then Sunday, I'm budgeting time for Sunday one side, and then Monday on Veterans Day the other side. But maybe I can get them both done in one day. We'll see. We'll see how cooperative this thing is. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Peace.